It was, as you can imagine, a very memorable taco night. And with that in mind, get ready to sink your teeth directly into the succulence of The Menu. Directed by Mark Millard, who did What's Your Number as well as various television shows. Check out his IMDb for the full listings. This is written by two different people. Seth Reese, who's also worked in television, writing television that is, and also had a stint writing for Late Night with Seth Meyers. Seth Meyers, who's a decently funny guy and seems to actually have a pretty quick wit about him. I really don't know why they felt the need to give him a late night show concept. But then again, Jimmy Fallon, who is not nearly as funny as Seth Meyers, has had a very long-running late-night talk show. Christ knows why, because even before he left SNL, he was starting to kind of show cracks of not being all that funny unless there was an ensemble cast actually being able to write for him and make him funnier than he actually is. And also his movies are kind of just the goddamn same. But he seems nice. I just don't know why he has a late-night talk show. Nevertheless, enough late-night talk show talk. Let's talk about Will Tracy, the other writer, not to be confused with Dick Tracy, because Will Tracy, as far as I know, at least according to a birth certificate that I assume exists, he's a real person. Dick Tracy is not, because he's fictitious, which is the opposite of real. I know, mind-blowing. He also has written for television, including Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. Enough talking about late-night talk show, well, talk. Let's talk about the movie. Fox Searchlight Pictures, they decided to, well, put a whirlwind of advertising behind this. I mean, seriously, commercials are everywhere. Across social media, across television. And I was interested when I first saw the teaser for this. I'm like, okay, cool, all right. The general idea is a bunch of rich people, they're at this island restaurant called Hawthorne, and they will deal with a whole bunch of crazy spreads, and this night will never, ever, ever end. Okay, I'm done trying to quote Gwen Stefani and totally running out of steam. There is a remote island with a restaurant, very, very glamorous, very just, clean, great, and there's all these chefs, and there's a head chef, which I promise you all, I did not have to say to myself repeatedly, so I wouldn't laugh. God damn it, head chef. It's like head mistress. It's funny. I'm mature. No, I'm not. So, Chef Slowick, and that is played by Ralph Fiennes. I keep wanting to call him Ralph Fiennes, because that's how it's spelled. Ralph Fiennes has been terrific for years. Even before The English Patient, but that's what put him on the map. He was great in Hannibal, honestly. Or Red Dragon. But Ralph Fiennes is fucking tremendous. It doesn't matter if you give him a bit part, you give him like comedy, you give him drama, you give him horror, whatever. He can play it, he can nail it. I'm not saying every single one of his movies has been great, but he plays this role perfectly as the executive head chef. And all these, pretty rich people are here. And then, including Tyler, played by Nicholas Hoult. And then there's Elsa, played by Hong Cho. Paul Adelson, or Adelstein. And then you have John Leguizamo. Amy Carrero. Pretty certain I butchered that right there. And a host of other people. Reed Bremy. And then I Was Suddenly Dreaming, and then suddenly Judith Light appeared. If anybody gets that reference, I love you guys. But the main reason I wanted to see this, besides the fact it looked like a deliciously fun horror comedy, is Anya Taylor-Joy. You slap her on something, never mind. And you put her on something. This is getting weird. You just have her out there being Anya Taylor-Joy and just being this absolutely talented, gorgeous goddess, and I will absolutely watch just about anything she's in. I haven't seen every single movie she's done, but from The Witch, you see her in The Witch and you just see, holy shit, you think 7 years ago you had this bright, fresh face that looked like she was going to be a star and has been a star since. She's done great shit. Emma, she was great. Last Night in Soho, my favorite movie of last year. So many other great goddamn movies. Anya Taylor-Joy is fucking tremendous and just talented as hell, can do comedy, can do drama. I think she's really good. And yeah, it doesn't hurt that she's fucking gorgeous. So when I saw she was in this, I'm like, okay. The plot, such as it is, all these people gather at this restaurant, and everything seems good, even if the courses are a little bit weird and the courses are all planned out. Everything's carefully planned out, and there's a system. You can't go in the chef's house. You have to stick to the restaurant. And there's all these people working in this mess kitchen. It's all clean and pristine and everything, and all these people are here. And then, once you hear the term the mess, oh, get ready for the rest, because then it gets really, really good. There's a slow burn for about the first 35 to 40 minutes, and then once again you hear the mess, oh boy, it kicks into high gear. So I can totally see people not liking this movie. In fact, I could see the social commentary mixed with horror, mixed with black comedy. I could see that turning people off. I'm not going to say this movie's wholly original. In fact, like there are elements of other movies that have been cherry-picked, Human Centipede together and presented to us here. But it's the bite and the style and the acting and the great just mind fuckery going on here. I haven't seen a movie that's entertained me this much as far as just like, holy shit, it exceeded my expectations since Ready or Not. Unlike Ready or Not was more like, while it was dark comedy, it had certain boisterous nature to it. This, when it leans into horror, boy, does it lean into horror. When it goes for shock, it really goes for shock. Now, you can see a lot of this shit coming. You really can, in all honesty. But the acting really sells it. The fact that it's all a plan, it's all design and everything, and all this weird shit's going on. And maybe you can figure out where most of the shit's going. Maybe you can figure out where a couple things like, oh shit, I didn't expect that coming. Like, there's enough twists and there's enough turns while being basically in just one location. That's the amazing thing. You have all these actors from Ralph Fiennes and Anya Taylor-Joy down through history and all that, and you have some great actors. And then I was dreaming that suddenly Judith Light appeared. I can't help but say that from that MST3K episode every time Judith Light appears. Well, it appears on film, or if I hear the name, it's ingrained in my head. Can't remember where I put my goddamn house keys, but I can remember that line. So this is just stylish and great, and when it gets horrifying, it gets really good, and it builds and builds, and it's just really good. And Ralph Fiennes is perfect in this, and Anya Taylor-Joy is perfect in this as well. She's perfect in pretty much anything or nothing. Boy, howdy. But everybody else plays a role. Now, they're the two main characters, the two main focuses, but just the system and the setup and everything, and the fact that all this stuff's carefully planned out, and it's all systematic, psychosomatic, addict insane, but it's a beautiful location, but most of it takes place at night. It does have a few issues, I will say. I think there's a problem with pacing towards the third act. I think that it gets to where I think there are a few things that they try to do that I don't know if they accomplished what they had planned. I don't know if there was editing, if we're going to get deleted scenes, like on a streaming copy, or as far as anything else. But when you hear the mess, and when you hear the thing about Taco Night, and then you hear the thing about the mess, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's delightful, it's delicious, and it's really good. Ralph Fiennes is great. Anya Taylor-Joy is great. I'm going to get into spoil. Everybody has a reason for being there. Minor characters, major characters, everybody has a reason for being there. The systematic, formation of all this stuff and why these people are there becomes clear as it goes on. And again, most wholly original? No. Could it have some issues? Sure. Could people not like this? Sure. But I ended up really liking it. And I was very entertained. I was enjoying it, despite the fact that I think that there were a couple people that were on copious amounts of drugs in the theater, and I don't think they would have had the first clue how to get home at night. Nevertheless, really entertained. Absolutely check this out. And it's great to watch around Thanksgiving, because then you can see what stuff you could plan for your own menu, assuming that you have unlimited money and you have an unlimited amount of cooks, and also all access to all the stuff that they have access to. It's entertaining. It's entertaining as fuck. It's really, really good. Anyway, I'm going to get into spoilers. So that's your warning right there. 3, 2, 1, and spoilers. Okay, so basically, it turns out that Anya Taylor-Joy's character, Margot, she was not supposed to be there. Tyler, played by Nicholas Hoult, had a girlfriend, and he had it all planned and everything to bring her there, but that wasn't going to work. She broke up with him. So he hired Margot, who actually, it turns out, is a call girl. That actually factors into another couple a little bit later, Judith Light and her husband. And that gets revealed a lot later on, in all honesty. And it turns out that Ralph Fiennes has basically just snapped his goddamn tether, that he has the funding to have one more big night. And he wants to just buck tradition, and he wants to basically just kill everybody. He wants everybody to die. Everybody is going to die. Why? It'll be his magnum opus. I don't know why. I don't know why he does this, but Ralph Fiennes is absolutely insane and absolutely delightful in this. Also, the staff's all in on it. And when I said the something about the mess, Pat Patterson's is. Anybody that's a Lifetime Wrestling fan will get that. When a guy who's a great cook, name's Jeremy, he they have this spread laid out and the mess, and he shoots himself. That's when the mess really starts. John Leguizamo's a big-time actor, but also a bit of a failed actor. There's some guys that are investors. There's all these details. Everybody on staff, Rafe Fiennes knows all this stuff about everybody as to why they're there. There's infidelity. There are people lying about who they are. Like, Margot is the only one that wasn't part of the plan. And it turns out Tyler knew all about the fact that everybody was going to die, and Margot starts to punch him out. And a lot of great shit happens here. A lot of great dialogue. Rafe Fiennes just being delightful, telling stories about how he stabbed his father in the thigh, and how it was a memorable taco night, and his mother was there drinking, and that is just an old lady drinking a whole lot. And there's this point where all these courses are prepared, and all these courses build and build and build. And then there's this one about particularly all these ingredients, all this stuff. They have these goats, for goat milk. They have all this stuff by the sea. Because they're on an island, obviously they would be around water. Don't know if you know anything about islands, but they kind of had to be surrounded by water. Kind of the whole point of being an island. But it's tropical. They have all the seafood, all this great staff, and everything's carefully planned out again, except for the aforementioned Margot, who, goddamn, Anya Taylor-Joy. Jeez, I had to slap myself a few times because she's just so good in more ways than one. But what ends up happening is, some people try to leave. One guy tries to leave, gets his finger chopped off. His ring finger. Well, gets a finger cut off that had the ring, and the ring falls off and everything. It's because of the infidelity. There are particular things carved or designed or burned into some tortillas for tacos. The memorable taco night. Some is the picture of like the guy committing infidelity. Others are for these three guys that made investments, and it was a scheme just to make themselves rich while screwing over everybody else. And it's stuff about John Leguizamo and Anya Taylor-Joy and all this stuff and everything. All this stuff going on. And it's a small cast. Even though there's a good amount of people in there, they focus on these particular people so you learn about them. You don't learn way too much and everything gets revealed, like, the main courses, and the courses keep going and going. And then, as more stuff gets revealed, Rafe Fiennes takes the investor. For some reason, he's just had it with him, and takes him, and he's got wings on him, and the staff has strung him up from something. I don't know where the hell they strung him up from, and they lower him. And he sinks into the water, and he says, well, that's it. I mean, I'm pretty much screwed here, but I've had it. I'm going to snap. Also, earlier in the movie, they were told not to go into the chef's house. Nobody could go in there, not even the staff. Here's a question. What happens if they need to get him? Can they just knock on the door? What if he doesn't answer and it's important? That's a plot hole. Not much of a plot hole, but nevertheless. He talks to Anya Taylor-Joy, and it turns out after Tyler basically was going to screw her over, didn't tell her about all this stuff, she decides to join him, but then later sneaks out a little bit later. This is while the men are sent to race away. We give you a 45-second start, and then our staff's going to chase you and bring you back. Why? Because it's a fun game. That's a bit of a thing, because the guys just end up coming back. I mean, some of them are injured, some of them are sloshy from the water. But Anya Taylor-Joy sneaks around, and she goes into the chef's house. Oh my God, you can't do that. She finds out a whole bunch of secrets about him. How he is a great chef, but he came from humble beginnings. She talked about, she wasn't eating a whole lot of his food, and he was upset by that because carefully crafted stuff. She sees an old picture of him working at a burger place. And she decides to play a game on him. Because she wasn't supposed to be there. She's going to turn the tables on him. All this shit's going on. All this weird stuff. It's just ridiculous. It's bonkers. Tyler ends up in the meantime being put as a chef to prepare some stuff because he's such a big fan of Slovak, but his dish doesn't end up turning out all that well. He ends up taking off the shirt that he was given, that was grafted, that was written down with his name. And he ends up hanging himself in the back of the mess kitchen. Why? Because he's ashamed. He's a fraud. He's a fool. He's a rich boy that has to pay women to sleep with him. Nothing wrong if you want to pay people to sleep with you, but maybe don't be a goddamn dick. And he was a full-on dick at one point earlier to her. So she has a fight with the main helper, who is saying, "You will not replace me." And then Anya Taylor-Joy ends up stabbing her through the goddamn throat. And then she's seen all this stuff, seen the hamburger stuff, and seen all this stuff, knowing about him, knowing how to play. She can figure this out because she can figure out people. Sure, she lied about who she was. Find out she was a call girl. She was from Nebraska, and she wanted to, have big dreams. And goddamn, she looks great. Sorry, can't help but say that. She says to him, "Oh, well, I'm starving. Well, I prepared all this food for you. So here's what I want. I want a cheeseburger." Harkening back to his times when he had those humble beginnings, when he wanted to get away from his past, and he's just snapped. He's absolutely had it. Prepares a cheeseburger. Has a bite or two and says, "My eyes are bigger than my stomach. I think I'll have this to go." And does all this stuff, all this great stuff, this fast food thing. Anybody who's worked in fast food or anybody who's worked in customer service that has those dickish customers, to be fair, Anya Taylor-Joy had every right to be a dick to him. Reflecting back, he gets a box and gives some complimentary goodies. Gives a goodie bag, and she leaves. He's allowed to he allows her to go. Takes a boat. An earlier guy who played a Coast Guard came and, pretended to, like he was going to shoot Ralph Fiennes. But nope, he didn't. He was in on the whole goddamn thing. He was one of the chefs, I guess, something. It was a bit weird. So then, for the final course. This is great. What ends up happening is they're going to prepare. Everybody else is still there. Anya Taylor-Joy, she's out in the boat. She's about to go away. This is how everybody's going to die. They get graham crackers, throw them around, and the instant I saw graham crackers, I'm like, oh. They get sticks with giant marshmallows. They put marshmallow vests seemingly around people. They put chocolate hats on them. And they set them on fire to make human s'mores. It's great. It's goddamn great. It's fucking great. Everybody gets set on fire. The restaurant blows up. It's great shit. And Anya Taylor-Joy is devouring that cheeseburger. And I don't know why that looked so hot, but it just did. Maybe because Anya Taylor-Joy is. But she escaped. Because she wasn't part of the plan and nobody would have believed her. Okay, I'm not going to say the movie necessarily makes a ton of sense when you actually break it down, but it is just really, really good. Really good. Really, really fucking hilarious. And then again, I was dreaming, and then suddenly Judith Light appeared. This is an A+. This is an A+. I was entertained. It was great stuff. So that's all I got to say. So yeah, you agree, disagree? Well, let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'm not going to put my Twitter handle in the description because I don't know if there's going to be a Twitter by the time this video posts. So if you happen to be watching this, thanks guys for following me. I'm going to continue to do the channel even if I don't have Twitter. I'll just plug it to my Facebook. Maybe I'll plug it to Discord if I ever get that. Anyway, I'm Charmecklin. I'll see you soon.